Alright, I hadn't uploaded a video in a while, and I was just going to try to keep up with my progress here on what I've got going on with this 1975 model Honda Elsinore. It's a MR175, kind of the Enduro version. And I bought this bike, I've probably had it a year and rode it maybe a mile or two. Been in search of one of these bikes for quite a while. This was my very first motorcycle, not this particular one, but one a whole lot like it. And they only made this bike in this green color for 1 year, and it was in 1975. They produced the bike, I believe, for 3 years. 76 got a red tank, white fenders, and then I think 77 may have got red fenders and the red tank. Can't quite remember, but anyway, they're kind of rare. They're not super rare, but they're hard to find in good condition. So when I was 11 years old, Dad had come up with this thing. For me, a bike to ride, and it needed a little work, so he sent it off to sent it over to a shops. He sent it over to a shop in Kentucky, and it stayed there for months looking for a magneto. And this is a '91, so you can imagine how hard parts are to find for this thing. But yeah, I didn't care much for the bike when I originally had it, because in '91, '92, and '93. I'm somewhere between 11 and 12 years old, and all the new Hondas are coming out. They're red, white, and blue. Got the monoshock, far more updated than this old two-stroke Elsinore. And all my friends and family members, they had me a little bit even scared to ride the bike, because I was hearing about the power band, which is laughable now. But anyways, I got older, I got a job, and started buying my own motorcycles, raced for a little while, to my early 20s, and took a break and just started recently racing back. But all that time I sort of wondered, if I could find another one of these bikes to restore and ride, to kind of bring you back to your childhood. It's kind of like a time machine. When I get on this thing fired up and ride it around, it just takes me back to being a kid. But with all that being said, this one is in pretty good shape. It probably looks in real good shape, but the guy that tried to restore it, he just sort of, while it's shiny, he didn't do a real good job. So the tank had pinholes in it. I think they tried to put a liner in it, then they just threw paint on it. And he got the color wrong on the tank. It's pretty close, but not quite. He put a bigger wing on it. He put the wing off like the 76 model. They had the bigger wing on them. And I can't say that it looks bad, it's just not original. So when I bought this 1976 model that I'm about to show you, it had a pretty good tank on it, and I had already bought another tank. And then I actually had to buy a third tank just to get the original color, to try to get the paint coat off, to restore this one to as close to perfection as I possibly can. And with these bikes being what they are, it's hard to find parts. So I've got a whole nother engine for extra parts. A whole nother parts bike for that matter, but the engine I feel like would be the most important thing. It'd be the hardest parts to come by. So here's the one I just bought. I give $400. Yeah, $400 for this bike, and it had a Chinese engine in it when I got it, and some guy had crammed it in there. He said the original engine had seized, but I did get the original engine. We'll discuss that in a minute. I have it taken apart over there on the workbench. But my plan is to take the two good tanks that I have, get them as smooth as I can get them, Bondo, or get the dents out, however, paint them back to the original color. And I'd like to have these two bikes as close to twins as I could possibly get. The difference being, I'm going to use a Blaster 200 engine for this one. I plan on racing this one. So the one to the right of me here should get all the premium parts. I want to keep it as close to factory and as clean, and as original as I can. And this one right here, well, I'm going to beat up on it a little bit, hopefully, if everything goes my way. So we'll go over here and talk about the tank and the engine. So here's the two tanks. These are 76 model tanks. And honestly, I don't know if the 250 and 175 would be the same tank or not. They have different part numbers, but I think they're probably nearly the same. Here's the engine I got. So the reason the guy had stuffed the Chinese engine in there, he said this engine was seized. And so he was right, the top end was probably stuck. And in his, I don't know, lesser IQ attempt to break it free. I mean, it's not a bad idea. You can beat them free and get them to run, but he took the plug out, and I guess he took a screwdriver or an extension and just beat straight down on it with a hammer, it looks like, sending cast aluminum shrapnel into the bottom end. So luckily I was able to clear all that out. Everything actually looks good. There's no flat spot on the bearings. It didn't weather too poorly. So hopefully this right here will be a whole nother complete engine I can rebuild, and I'll see what's better between the two. Maybe all the gears work good and all that, but it's great to have a spare for an old vintage bike like that. And then I'll work my way over to the little blaster I just bought. But before that, we'll stop by here and look at this old magazine. I've got a whole collection of these things. Got a friend who is in his 60s, had been collecting these old bike magazines since the late 60s, 70s, 80s. It goes through the 90s. Have a lot of them hung up on my shop wall. But anyway, I'm trying to find the one with this Elsinore specifically in here. This is Cycle Magazine, by the way. It might take me a minute. Or Ducati. Shows how prepared I am. I should already have the magazine put right to the page, huh? But if you like this old stuff, if you're watching me, you probably like these old bikes anyway. It's not going to kill you to flip through a little bit of history. May have to go through and edit this thing if I can't find it pretty quick. I know this is the one that's got it in it. Right? No? Looks like there will be an edit. Sorry for that. Took me a minute to find it. But here's a small article on this MR175 in 1975. Anybody want interested in the original article, you can screenshot that and go back through and reread it if you'd like. It says here, in Los Angeles this spring, MRs were selling for $767. I give a couple grand just for the one that looked like it was in great shape. Now look over here. Big horsepower. 13.91 max. 10 foot-pounds of torque. Suggested retail price just under $900. But anyway, so I can keep from tripping over all the dogs. So right here is the donor for the other one. Hopefully everything works correctly. Hopefully I'm able to take this blaster engine out. It being air cooled, I think it should be a pretty easy swap. Should be. I don't know. It depends on where everything mounts up. But it being a reed valve engine, should have quite a bit more horsepower. Really, I think these put out between 17 and 20 in stock form. Not sure if we'll hop it up much or just probably just be happy that it's running. But so that's the plan with the other. We'll see. Like I say, I don't get in no real big hurry. I'm not a YouTube channel that's large and that'll have everything powder coated and finished up on the next video. It may be 6 months down the road. It could be a lot longer. But for now, that's all I've got on the two Elsinores.